Today we're going to talk about some just mixed practice for equations. So within here you'll have one step and two step. In problem 1, remember minus a negative is plus a positive. So we're going to have one big plus sign here, and I'm going to rewrite it so it's easily read. I'm going to draw my line down the equal sign. I have x plus 11. This is a one-step equation. So the inverse operation of plus 11 is minus 11. What you do on one side, you must do on the other. So x equals negative 27 plus negative 11. You have same signs, so you add and keep the sign. So you should get negative 38. Now you need to do your check step. Write down the problem. I'm going to put the x plus 11 equals negative 27. Substitute what you got for an answer in for x. So you get negative 38 plus 11 equals negative 27. Negative 38 plus negative 11. These are different signs, so you subtract to get 27. Take the sign of the larger number, which is 38. So it's a negative 27. So negative 27 equals negative 27. Problem 2. This reads x divided by 7 equals negative 13. Draw your line down the middle. Remember, a fraction bar represents division. So the inverse operation is multiplication. So you're going to multiply by 7. Your inverse operations cancel, leaving you with x equals a negative 13 times a positive 7, giving you a negative 91. Don't forget, when you multiply integers, you can always use your plus minus table. A negative times a positive gives you a negative. Check your answer. Write down the original problem. Substitute what you got in for an answer. Make sure you do the work to figure out that negative 91 divided by 7 gives you negative 13. Do not assume. Number 3, 5/7 times x equals 15. Draw your line. Remember, when multiplying a fraction by a variable, you can multiply by the reciprocal, which is 7/5. What you do to one side, you must do to the other. You get 7 times 5 is 35 over 35, which is 1. So 1x. Place a 1 underneath the 15 to make it into a fraction. 15 times 7 is 105. 1 times 5 is 5. When you reduce this, you get 21. Check your answer. 5/7 x equals 15. Plug in 21 and multiply. 5 times 21 is 105. Divided by 7 gives you 15. 15 equals 15. Let's try number 4. Draw your line down the equal sign. This is a two-step equation because you have to multiply 2 times 3 first. Now you have a one-step, 6 plus p equals 8. You want to look at the constant on the side with the variable, and that's 6. 6 is positive, so the inverse of a positive 6 is going to be a negative 6. So you want to subtract 6 on each side, leaving you with p equals 2. Check your answer. Write down the original problem, substitute in your answer, and in this case, follow order of operations. So you're going to multiply first. Oh, whoops. It's an 18. Sorry, guys. So this should be a 12. And this should be a 12 here. Okay, so 6 plus 12 is 18. See? You notice how that makes it so you check your work. It's very important. All right, let's do 2 more together. Draw your line down the equal sign for number 5. The variable is on the right side. So you're going to move the minus 27. The inverse operation is plus 27. Negative 9 plus 27. These are different signs, so you subtract. Take the sign of the larger number. That'll give you a positive 18 equals x. Check your answer. Negative 9 equals x minus 27. Substitute in 18 for x and subtract. 18 minus 27 is a negative 9 because you have a smaller number minus a bigger number. On number 6, 3/4 x equals negative 16. Remember, when you're multiplying a fraction by a variable, multiply by its reciprocal, which is 4/3. So that leaves you with x on the right side, and negative 16 times 4, which is negative 64, divided by 3. This does not reduce to a whole number, so leave it as a reduced fraction. Check your answers. You get negative 16 equals 3/4 x. Negative 16 equals 3/4 times negative 64 over 3. Negative 64 times 3 is negative 192 divided by 12. If you long divide this out, it does reduce to give you negative 16. Okay, so it's okay to have a fraction as an answer, but do not turn it into a decimal and leave it as improper reduced. On number 7, remember when you have one fraction bar, w plus 6 over 2? Remember, this fraction bar represents division. So remove your denominator first by using the inverse operation of times 2. That leaves you a w plus 6 equals 4. Now you have a one-step equation. Subtract 6 on both sides, and you get w equals negative 2. Remember, this is a smaller number minus a bigger number, so you're going to get a negative answer. Write down the original problem when you go to check. Substitute in what you got. Follow order of operations. Simplify the numerator first. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 does equal 2. So you did your work correct. In problem 8, This is a two-step equation because it's going to take you 2 steps to get the variable by itself. Remember, you want to find the side with the variable, which is the left side, and move the constant first. So that would be a positive 4. Subtract 4 on both sides. Bring down what's remaining, which is your 3n, equals 3. This is 3 times n, so the inverse operation is division. So you have n equals 1 remaining. Check your answer by writing down the original, substituting in your answer, and then following GEMDAS to get your answer. So you multiply first to get 3 plus 4 is going to give you 7. So you know you did the right work because 7 does equal 7. Remember, that's the reflexive property. And number 9, the variable's on the left side, so you want to move your constant first. In this case, that is the negative 2. So you want to plus 2 on both sides, bring down what's remaining, which is y divided by 3 equals 12. The inverse operation of division is multiplication. So multiply each side by 3. And 12 times 3 is 36. Okay, check your answer by writing down the original, substituting in what you got for the variable, follow GEMDAS. Your division comes first. This gives you 12. 12 minus 2 is 10. Okay. Last problem. Your variable is on the right side, so you want to move the constant on the right side. That's a plus 2. So the inverse of a plus 2 is a minus 2. Bring down what you have remaining. Don't forget this subtraction needs to come down with your 3y. So now you have a negative 3 times y. So you want to divide each side by negative 3. And y equals 9 divided by negative 3, which is negative 3. Check your answer so you know there's no mistakes by writing down the original, then substituting in what you got for an answer. Follow GEMDAS. Do your multiplying first. A negative 3 times a negative 3 is a positive 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. Ask your teacher if you have any questions.